This LOS is describe the key tenets of Elliott Wave Theory and the importance of Fibonacci numbers. Technical analysis tools. Now we're going to look at the Elliott Wave Theory. And the Elliott Wave Theory is an approach to market forecasting that assumes that the markets form repetitive wave patterns, which are themselves composed of smaller and smaller subwaves. The relationships among wave heights are frequently Fibonacci ratios. The Fibonacci sequence starts with the numbers 0, 1, 1, and then each subsequent number in the sequence is the sum of the two preceding numbers. So we can see 0, 1, 1, then it goes 2, 1 plus 1 equals 2, then 2 plus 1 equals 3, 3 plus 2 equals 5, 5 plus 3 equals 8, 8 plus 5 equals 13, 13 plus 8 equals 21, 21 plus 13 equals 34, and it would carry on. Elliott Wave Theory. The longest of the waves is called the grand supercycle and takes place over centuries. Elliott traced grand supercycles back to the founding of the United States, and his successors have continued his work. Each grand supercycle can be broken down into subcycles until ending with the sub-minuet, which unfolds over several minutes. The major cycles are grand supercycle, supercycle, cycle, primary, intermediate, minor, minute, minuet, and subminuet. From the text, there's a graph of the Elliott wave. So you can see on the left-hand side the impulse numbered phase, on the right-hand side the corrective lettered phase. So in the text, there's quite a bit of description with regards to wave 1 starts as a basing pattern and displays an increase in price, volume, and breadth. Wave 1 consists of 5 smaller waves. Wave 2 moves down, retracing much of the gain in wave 1, but not all of it. Common percentage retracements are Fibonacci ratios, such as 50% or 62%. Wave 2 never erases all of the gains from wave 1. Wave 2 consists of 3 smaller waves. Wave 3 moves above the high of the first wave and has strong breadth, volume, and price movements. Most of the price movements in an uptrend typically occur in wave 3. Wave 3 consists of 5 smaller waves. Wave 3 often moves prices 1.68 times higher than the length of wave 1, which is a Fibonacci ratio. Wave 4 is again a correction, and the ratio of the change in price during this wave to the price change during the third wave is also generally a Fibonacci ratio. Wave 4 commonly reverses 38% of the gain in wave 3. Wave 5 is also an up wave. Generally, the price movement in wave 5 is not as great as that in wave 3. The exception to the rule is that wave 5 may become extended, as when euphoria overtakes the market. Wave 5 consists of 5 smaller waves. After wave 5 is completed, the market traces out a series of 3 corrective waves, labeled A, B, and C in the exhibit. Wave A is a down wave in a bull market. Wave A itself breaks down into 3 waves. Wave B is an upward movement and breaks down into 5 waves. Wave B is a false rally, often called a bull trap. Wave C is the final corrective wave. In a bull market, it does not move below the start of the prior wave 1 pattern. Wave C breaks down into 3 subwaves. The description of the waves applies to bull markets. In bear markets, the impulse waves are labeled A through E, and the corrective waves are labeled 1, 2, and 3. Waves in the direction of the trend consist of 5 subwaves and counterwaves of 3 subwaves. So as the text says, in practice, a good deal of time is required to become proficient in Elliott Wave Theory. Wave counts may not become evident at first, and often have to renumber the wave counts, okay? So that's a little bit complex with regards to the Elliott wave. I think you'll see that the practice questions based on the theory are a little bit easier, but that was just a bit of description to complement the graph. So we'll do a quick practice question to check our understanding. All of the following are names of Elliott cycles except for A, presidential, B, supercycle, or C, grand supercycle. Okay, this question was pretty easy. It was looking for the negative. So all of the following are names of Elliott cycles except for A, presidential. So the term presidential, that was a previous LOS, that's a term for a separate cycle theory. So again, just a quick review. The major cycles for Elliott Wave are grand supercycle, which I highlighted in green there, and you can match, they are names. And then don't forget cycle, primary, intermediate, minor, minute, minuet, and subminuet. So again, this practice question is fairly easy compared to the previous chart that we saw and all the detailed description of the characteristics of each wave. And we'll just finish this LOS with one last practice question. In 1938, R.N. Elliott proposed a theory that equity markets move in A, in stochastic waves, B, in cycles following Fibonacci ratios, or C, in waves dependent on other securities. Fairly easy question, good one for a review. B is correct. An important aspect of Elliott's work is that he discovered that the market wave follows patterns that are ratios of the numbers in the Fibonacci sequence. Leonardo Fibonacci was an 11th century Italian mathematician who explained this sequence in his book Liber Abaci. Sorry for the pronunciation. But the sequence was known to mathematicians as far back as 200 BC in India. And the Fibonacci sequence starts with the numbers 0, 1, 1, and then each subsequent number in the sequence is the sum of the two preceding numbers. And that's the last slide for this LOS. Thank you.